Let's bring in Republican Senator from Arizona, John McCain, to talk more about this, about what happened, and about the path forward. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
Good morning. So you now have some breathing room, a little bit of breathing room before we hit two more deadlines, and and you need to get a budget deal in some 2 months. Senator Angus King was on earlier. He said there's a chance that the two sides could come together and reach a budget deal, a long-term budget deal. Mick Mulvaney, the congressman from South Carolina, came on. He said he didn't think there was a chance that that could be pulled off. What do you think?
I'm not sure. I think sooner or later we will, but we're not going to go through the shutdown again because people have been too traumatized by it. There's too much damage. We tried this back in 1995, had the same result, and we waited a long time before we tried this again. So I don't think that there's that danger again, and that's what most people are worried about. Out of this, Kate, we're winners and losers, we look at it, but the real losers were the American people. And people in my state, for example, there's a community outside the Grand Canyon called Tucson. They're dependent on the Grand Canyon. They're not going to get their back pay back. They're not just furloughed. They had no jobs. We had to fly food up there to the families of the people who work in the Grand Canyon that are not government employees. Look, this was a terrible idea. I told you at the beginning how it was going to end, and we know if they try it again how it's going to end. So hopefully we're not going to do this again.
How do you
at least
avoid
not in
it?
my lifetime. Well, you just don't shut the government down. You keep the government open, you keep negotiations going. I think we could reach probably a short-term agreement. When I mean a short-term, a smaller agreement than the, quote, grand bargain. There were 14 of us that worked together, dominated by women, I might add.
Good thing.
Of course. We had come up with an agreement which was basically a better deal, frankly, for Republicans than the one that we had to cut there because we had no cards left to play.
What is feasible when you're looking at the most immediate challenge, which is this group coming together to try to reach any kind of a budget deal? What is feasible at this point with this Congress? Are there 3 things that you think we can pull off?
I think that we can certainly keep the government open. I think they learned a very bad. Look at what the American people's view of us is. You know, I have this line that I use all the time. We're down to blood relatives and paid staffers. Yeah. Well, I got a call from my mother, who's 101. I've just lost one of the blood relatives.
You even lost your mother?
I even lost my mother. So there's plenty of things we can do. We are not out of options. The question is will we have the will to reach those options? And frankly, one of them is the normal thing that we're supposed to do, which we used to do, and that have the House passes a budget, the Senate passes a budget, they go to a conference, and we come out with a budget. Duh. It's not that hard to do. But we have gridlocked. For 4 years, the Democrats didn't give us a budget here in the Senate. Finally, we got one, and then some Republicans blocked going to the conference. So I think we're going to, hopefully the lesson is stop this foolish childishness. And the president won. I give him credit, he won. But he should have negotiated more earlier, and we could have prevented some of this pain.
Well, when you talk to conservatives, conservative Republicans, especially in the House, they think, you know, they need to stand for good policy is good politics. They're standing on principle. Even though they lost the fight, they think they fought the good fight, as John Boehner said. How do you get Republicans on the far right on board for anything, even keeping the government open short term?
Well, look, I think the American people made a judgment about this fight, and they may be proud of the fight they fought. Maybe they regret it. I don't know. Maybe in hindsight, I'm not sure that you could declare victory. The point is the American people disapprove strongly. They disapprove of Republicans the most, but also Democrats and the president. Everybody suffered in this thing. And one thing that politicians want is approval, and the American people have spoken loud and clear. They disapprove of what we are doing. So we've got to stop this childishness.
Is there something that needs to happen within the party to
There's going to be a fight in our party.
Break the cycle?
There's a fight in our party, and that has to be waged, and it's been there before. It's also about internationalists versus isolationists. There's debates that are going to go on in our party, and it's probably healthy for us to have that debate. But at the end of the day, we got to come together. Someplace along the line, we've forgotten Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment. You know what it was? Don't speak ill of your fellow Republicans. And we've done way too much of that.
So You don't think there really is a chance to pull off a long-term budget blueprint in 2 months?
If we could just get a budget for the year, well, I'd be overjoyed. So I think we can do that. I think there's going to be a new attitude around here, recognizing that the American people are sick and tired of what we did. And I'm glad the government workers are back at work, and I'm glad our government is functioning again. But the damage we've done to people who don't work for the government has been immense. The estimates of tens of billions of dollars in damage. That's not why we're sent here.
But when you look at the next fight, next fight that really picks up really today, it's going to take you in through next year, which means an election year.
Kate, I predicted that how this thing would end because I saw it in 1995. I predict to you we will not be shutting down the government anytime soon. Now, we may still have some gridlock. Maybe we'll have continuing resolutions but we're not going to shut down the government again. I guarantee it.
Do your colleagues in the House agree with you?
I think not. I think the majority of the House, by their vote last night, they didn't have to vote to open up the government again last night. They could have kept it shut. I don't think they'll do this again. At least I certainly pray they won't.
The big criticism I heard from Mick Mulvaney, and we've heard it over and over again, is that Republicans are ready to deal, but the president needs to engage. Do you think that the president will do you have any confidence the president will engage more?
He will engage now. I'm confident. Now, whether we'll reach an agreement or not, I don't know. But I know that the president will engage. He has got to understand that magnanimity in victory is a very important quality to have. He won. Now you sit down with your adversaries and get things worked out. If you don't, then obviously you're not going to be a successful president.
All right. Well, your prediction was right this time around. The government that the Republicans were going to lose on this one. Let's hope that your next prediction is right as well. That the government will not be shut down.
It will not be shut down again. I am sure.
All right. Senator John McCain, always great to have you on.
And if I'm wrong, then
then we're going to roll this tape and I
roll
get
the
to
tape
blame
again.
you.
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Senator, it's great to see you. Thank you so much.